Digital art can be described as art made entirely through computing, and not just assisted by computer aid. It has taken many forms and many iterations, and it is advanced through society's own technological and science advances. In the beginning, many tried to define and categorize it, which is natural with the new art form. However, the numerous amounts of styles, aesthetics, and methods used in digital art is incredibly vast, and in this presentation, we try to cover those beginnings and inform on the roots, the influences, as well as the themes for the mammoth of a genre that digital art is. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Mohammed Khan. Overview of pages 7 through 10. So these pages explain the digital art isn't just about computers, but about how technology changes the way art is created and experienced. Back in the 60s and 70s, artists started using computers, video, and cybernetics to make their artwork interactive. On this slide, I had two examples. The Univac from 1952. It's the first computer. It shows how early computers set the stage for digital art. And Lanzo Moholy Nagy, Kinetic Sculpture Moving, 1933, used light and motion in his light space modular thing, which really predicted the kind of immersive art we see today. The main idea is that digital art is interactive and always changing, but it also can be outdated as technology moves forward over the years. The key terms is digital art, medium, interactivity, permanent, and connectivity. Question I do have is how did computers change art when artists first started using them?
On pages 11 to 14, Cushion Paul explained the connections between digital arts and Dadaist poetry. He also talked about the International Fluxus group of artists, musicians, and performers in the 1960s who experiment with audience participation. He highlighted the importance of interactivity and audience participations. There are a few key terms in the pages, which are audience participations, meaning viewer can become a part of the artwork. Interactive, meaning viewer can take part in the artwork. Control randomness is something that happened randomly, but within the artist's set of rules. There were two artists that mentioned in those pages, which is Marcel Duchamp in 1920. One of his artworks are the rotary glass plate, an artwork that required the viewer to turn on the machines and stand at a distance of 1 meter. This let the viewer interact with the artwork. Another artist is Nam June Park. In 1963, he installed random access, where he stuck more than 50 strips of audio taped to a wall and asked user to play the segment by means. This let the viewer be part of the artwork.
15 to 18, the focus centers around the transformation of art and how the digital era pushed new elements of artists, styles, and their creations. From Open System, how it provides and highlights the access that artists bring to the table as well as provide to the world. And then System Approach to art is how the viewpoints focus on creating stable and ongoing relationships between the organic and non-organic systems. With artists like Nam June Park, they had anticipated the designs and ideas in 1963 and created this installation where they would have continuous strips of audio tape and mounting those to create hand-controlled use of art where people can walk up to it and play it. And with other works of art like John Whitney here on the slide, in 1961 you get to see the military computer equipments showing and using of the outcome of that, as well as the Hummingbird print on paper by Charles Cross in 1967. These works are great examples of how the access to computer and the entire network system brought artists new ways to interact with one another, as well as take inspirations from one another as well. With these changes in technology and the providing of new installations and pieces of art that have a large connectivity between artists and the platform that was provided, began a new wave of performance art. These performance arts were able to be shared through networks, and later through the 1970s and the 80s, you can see it to today that the videos, the audios that were shared, as well as the new forms were something that were unseen and were revolutionary. These artists brought techniques that were unseen, and the platforms that they were provided gave them a whole new range of styles, materials, concepts, and a network to share all that on. Even simply going as far as television broadcast and aesthetic potentials of videos, teleconferences, and exploration of real-time ideas and historical events that had a hold on every performance art of style that came into this world.
In pages 19 to 21, Christian Paul explains how digital art involves more than just digital art. He discussed how science plays a part into the process and how artists imagine the future. Some key points that are brought up is the use of novels and the authors such as Neil Stephenson and William Gibson. Science fiction played a big role in shaping digital art by introducing cyberspace and the metaverse, which inspired how digital artists imagined the digital worlds. Another main point in these pages is the Satellite Arts Project. This project allowed conceptual and performance practices focusing on process, interaction, and highlighted the role of the audience. Kit Galloway and Sherry Rimbowitz and their project Satellite Arts used satellites to connect people in real time and was one of the first artworks to use telecommunications as the medium itself. Paul demonstrates that art doesn't always need to be in physical spaces, but instead digital art can explore new ideas and be used in exhibitions as well.
Hello class, my name is Roman Walton and I'm going to be presenting from pages 22 to 24 for a reading presentation. So overall, digital art began to forge new cultural contexts beyond galleries. Through networks, installations, and interactive systems they employed, art, science, and math could be combined into a single art form as digital art, as well as breaking the boundaries between where it can be displayed. It can be displayed on the internet as well as in galleries, and it's really brought more to the world of digital art. Even though boundaries have been broken to where art can be displayed, it is notable that artwork should be displayed in context to what the art is meant to be, so exhibition space should be based on what its purpose is. Digital art has also been created, which means that the technology at the time is consistent with what the type of art is being made. So older computers are consistent with older art, whereas newer digital art is often associated with newer technology. Digital art has also made networks where people connect with each other through digital art, which creates interactive systems based on user participation. This also blurred the boundaries between art and many other types of things. Digital art has a wide cultural context as the time has continued and new digital art techniques have been made. An artwork that I think does a good job explaining how digital art can bring people together is Kit Galloway's and Sherry Robinowitz's Hole in Space art piece created in 1980. They used satellite video. This project linked New York and Los Angeles, allowing strangers to see and speak in real time, creating public connection. And it was also created using standard definition video with black and white with sound. This was a time-based art piece installation. People could interact with each other from two different locations for a certain amount of time. But once it ended, people could not interact with each other anymore. But it has been documented through photo and video, seeing people interact in the past through digital art. In conclusion, digital art is a broad term encompassing many different types of art using digital media, and overall it has blurred the lines between many different forms of skills and sets.
In conclusion, digital art is the new edge for art and has boundless potential, as it goes as far as our most brilliant and creative minds can push it. And the spirit of innovation and finding new experiences has been there since before its inception. In many ways, waiting for our technology to catch up, and I hope our presentation was able to get that across. Thank you for watching our presentation. And now, before we finish up, we have some ending questions for the class. How did computers change art when artists first started using them? How is digital art different than traditional art like painting or drawing? What kind of challenges did artists who used the integration of digital media face from those who were opposed to the idea of integrating technology with art? Who first used the term cyberspace, and why is it important? What role did digital artists play in connecting technology with performance and media? How did digital art use networks and interactivity to create new cultural contexts? Thank you for watching.